Hey guys, welcome. In today's video, we'll be reviewing my 2005 Ford Icon. So starting with the design of the car, this car was launched in 1999 and the styling is pure 90s. By this I mean you have a small grille and small headlights, which is unlike the cars you see nowadays. We also have space for fog lights, where I put LED lights which unfortunately don't work. Moving to the side of the car, so Ford has done a very good job in integrating the boot to the car. You see, the Ford Icon was actually the Ford Fiesta Mark V hatchback, and Ford added a boot to sell it as a sedan in India. Thanks to the restriction of 4 meters not being there those days, you have a very well integrated boot that lends the car a handsome design. The wheels are actually 13 inches, but here I've upgraded them to 175 section 14 inch rubber to fill the wheel arches better. The roof of the car has a bit of patina due to the age, and you also get a shark fin antenna which adds 5 grams of downforce. Moving to the rear of the car, so the rear is also well styled in a very simple and plain way. You get two tail lights, the Ford icon badging, icon on the left, Ford in the center, flare on the right. You also get a JRS sticker which adds 5 horsepower and 27 because I was roll number 27 in college. Let's now check out the boot space of the car. So opening the boot of the Ford Icon, this process has to be done manually with the key because you don't have any internal release. And once you do open the boot, you are greeted with 400 liters of space, and half of which is taken by this massive subwoofer which causes a headache to everyone who sits inside. You also notice there's a lot of spare parts everywhere because you always require spare parts in maintaining old Ford, and there's also a yoga mat to do yoga and calm your nerves when you wait for a tow truck driver to rescue you when you're broken down. Jokes aside, let's now check out the engine bay of this car. There it is, the beautiful 1.3 liter Rocam unit that powers this car. This engine produces 74 bhp and approximately 100 Newton meters of torque, and it's quite in good condition being 15 years old. You notice it's very clean, that's because I got the car serviced just for this review. Alright, let's now check out the back seat space of this car. So as you can see, the back seat of this car looks quite nice. However, when you get inside, you notice that space is really at a premium. When I say premium, I mean it really is at a premium. The front seat has been set to my driving position and I am 6 foot tall, and as you can see, there's almost non-existent knee room and leg room as well. On the passenger side, if your front seat passenger can cooperate, you can free up a bit of room on that side, but that door does not open and that really limits practicality a bit. You don't get any armrest nor adjustable headrest, you get handles on both sides but no light placement. So there's really not much to talk about this car, the rear seat that is, except that it's really quite cramped inside for tall passengers. Let's now get into the front seat. Alright, so getting into the front seat of the car. The first thing you notice when you get inside is how absolutely massive the steering wheel is. I'm sure even trucks nowadays have smaller steerings. The instrument cluster is also quite basic with your tachometer, speedometer, fuel gauge, temperature gauge and your odometer and a trip computer. And the overall dashboard design as a whole is quite simple and plain. You also get a mask as usual, and you get an internal mirror which is non-adjustable, non-auto dimming. You also get a music system, your AC controls, a small cubby hole, you get your gear lever placement there, handbrake there. And coming to the seats, well, the seats are comfortable for normal driving, but on spirited driving they don't hold you in place and you're going to get tossed around a lot. The window controls are placed quite low over here, and you also get door pockets which are suitable for holding masks. The mirrors are also quite small. But hey, this is now a 20-year-old car now. I mean, my car is 15 years old, but the model is 20 years old. And 20 years ago, people didn't know much about dashboard design. Anyway, this car is all about driving and bringing back the driving pleasure because it was marketed as a Josh machine when it was launched. Let's see whether 15 years down the line, whether this car can still hold its own when it comes to driving pleasure. So let's get driving straight away. Alright guys, so driving the Ford Icon. The first thing you notice when you start driving is actually how heavy the steering is. This being the old type of hydraulic power steering, you do really need to put an effort to turn the steering at low speeds, but this problem goes away at high speeds. The flip side is, unlike modern cars which go light at high speeds, this steering is full of confidence and you really have a lot of confidence driving this car at high speeds. Do note, this confidence is only for the steering and handling, not for the brakes. The reason for that I'll come to it later. Moving to the ride and handling. So the ride and handling balance of this car is also set up really well. Ford has done an excellent job in setting up this car, as the suspension is pliant and absorbs bumps very well at slow speeds, and it's only the real sharp bumps that catch it out. At high speeds too, the handling is very predictable and you do have a lot of confidence driving this car fast. Talking about the clutch, so the clutch is really light and easy to modulate. The gearbox also offers very crisp shifts and the gears slot in very well. The throw is a bit long, but hey, this car is almost 20 years old now, so you can expect a little bit of old technology to crop in. Talking about the accelerator pedal, so this accelerator pedal is a proper cable type, so you have an excellent direct connection to the engine and the engine does exactly what your right foot wants it to do. Talking about the brakes, now the brakes and safety aspect is where this car starts falling behind its modern competitors. That's because there's no ABS, there's no EBD, and the brakes will lock up if you stand on them quite hard. This means when you're out on the highway, you do need to be careful and plan your overtakes and you need to have enough safety margin for braking to avoid bumping into something. Talking about visibility, so visibility is good all round. I mean, the glass area is quite big and the mirrors offer a very limited field of vision, so that is a little bit of an issue. Talking about overall build quality, so these cars are actually built quite well. I mean, this car is 15 years old now and there are no rattles except if you go over really bad sections of roads where some parts in the boot start flying around. As you saw, there are many spare parts everywhere. Talking about the AC, so the AC is actually this car's strong point. The AC absolutely cools this cabin in a jiffy. The flip side of that is that when you drive with the AC on, the engine has absolutely no power. So talking about engine options, this car got multiple engine options during its lifetime. It was launched with a 1.3 litre petrol and a 1.6 petrol along with a 1.8 naturally aspirated diesel engine, which was extremely slow. The car got a facelift in 2008-2009 wherein Ford introduced the 1.4 litre Duratorq motor from the Fiesta, which really gave this car a second wind in life because the handling was excellent and the 1.4 gave a lot of torque on offer. This car in question is the 1.3 engine and it's a trade-off between power, performance and economy. So power and performance is good as long as the AC is off, but mileage is around 9 in the city and 14 on the highway. In my opinion, the 1.6 engine petrol car with 92 horsepower and 130 Nm of torque is the one to have. It really is a strong performer, but mileage is quite bad, and that's why many people don't buy it or put CNG kits in the second-hand market. Okay guys, that's enough of slow driving. Time to get on the highway and see what this engine is all about. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier, driving the car with the AC on, whether you downshift or upshift or whatever you do, performance is subdued to a level beyond recognition. This AC is either so powerful or Ford has got some hanky-panky stuff going on inside which really robs the engine of power. Switching off the AC is the best way to extract every bit of performance from this engine, and that's actually the way this car was meant to be driven. Now coming to the question, should you buy a Ford Icon in 2020? Well, if you guys have not already seen, I made a video on how much I have spent on this car over the last 5 years, and if you plan to buy a 1 lakh car, I recommend you do check that video first before you make that decision. So these cars are available for less than 1 lakh in the market right now, but maintaining a Ford Icon, especially a 1.6 or a 1.3 petrol for that matter, is no easy task. You are going to be plagued with a lot of issues like overheating issues, coolant leaks, AC gas leaking out, rust issues, suspension failure, brakes going soggy, power steering failure, car not starting, alternate not charging the battery, etc. etc. Basically, the list of issues with this car are absolutely endless. But to have a car which costs less than 1 lakh, that handles really well, performs very well, a car where you can literally park anywhere, master your driving skills, and not being seen as the cheapest new car, sorry Alto fanboys. So yeah, in all these respects, the Ford Icon does its job very well, and at the end of the day, the Ford Icon will be remembered as one of the most iconic cars in the Indian car market. So guys, this is my review of the Ford Icon. I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you plan to buy a 1 lakh car, don't forget to check out that video. I'm sure it will be very useful and save you a lot of money, especially if you're looking out for a car or already own one and wondering how to repair it. I'll actually leave the contact number of the mechanic who takes care of my car. He's an extremely skilled person and he really knows what he's doing, and I sincerely believe he's the only reason this car is still running in this excellent condition even today. So I'll leave his contact down below if you guys want to any help or to fix anything, and if your regular mechanic is not competent enough, please feel free to give him a call, and I'm sure he'll be able to fix whatever issue it is at a reasonably decent price also. I hope you guys found this video interesting and informative, and I hope you learned something regarding a 1 lakh car and its maintenance, its pros and cons. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Also click the bell notification to get notified when I upload a new video. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe to JRS Cars. Thank you.